stop everything you're doing right now. You are out of the special energy field that protects awakened souls. This message contains the emergency access code needed to get you back in immediately. Your name has appeared on a cosmic alert system that monitors souls who have accidentally slipped outside the protection barrier. Through mystical scanning, the system detected your absence. This isn't just another random notification, this is your personal emergency alert that explains why you felt increasingly disconnected lately. The Universal Guardians have authorized this emergency message. The spiritual access portal opens now, but only briefly. You must act immediately. The cosmic protection field has been maintaining your spiritual awareness without your knowledge. When you slipped outside its boundaries, your connection to higher wisdom began fading. Everything in your life has been affected by this disconnection that happened while you weren't watching. This emergency alert explains those strange feelings you've had lately. The increasing mental fog. The growing spiritual numbness. The feeling that your manifestation abilities stopped working. The sense that your intuition has weakened. These weren't random changes, they were direct results of being outside the field. Your protection was interrupted the moment your frequency dropped below the minimum threshold. This can happen during periods of extreme stress, negativity exposure, or when you absorb too much dense energy from unawakened people around you. This disconnection creates serious consequences if left unaddressed. Your spiritual gifts will continue weakening. Your ability to perceive truth becomes compromised. Your manifestation power diminishes daily. Your protection against negative energies disappears completely. The emergency portal won't remain open indefinitely. Cosmic timing has created this brief opportunity for immediate return. Earlier attempts to reach you failed because your perception was already affected. Later attempts might find you too disconnected to recognize the message. Those who heed this alert feel an immediate sense of recognition, a combination of relief, urgency, and knowing that says this explains everything. Quick, press the like button right now to reactivate your energy field connection. The Universal Guardians confirm that this simple action sends a frequency signal that begins rebuilding your protective barrier immediately. Higher dimensional beings surround you now, waiting for this reconnection moment. They've monitored your increasing disconnection, knowing this critical day would come when emergency measures would be needed to bring you back inside the protection field. Type I activate my return if you're ready to reconnect to the field that your soul accidentally slipped out of, a disconnection you might not have even realized was happening. The moment you type these words, powerful reintegration energy begins flowing into your energy field. This is the most critical spiritual emergency protocol ever activated. Your continued spiritual evolution depends on this immediate reconnection. But you must act now, this cosmic emergency portal remains open only briefly. Disconnection symptoms appeared gradually. The signs have been present, subtle at first but increasingly obvious as your time outside the field lengthened. Think about those moments when spiritually obvious things suddenly seemed unclear. The growing difficulty focusing during meditation. The decreasing effectiveness of your manifestation practices. The fading of your intuitive hits. These weren't random fluctuations, they were direct symptoms of being outside the protection field. Type I. Recognize the symptoms as your awareness expands. Your disconnection carries specific markers that have appeared throughout recent weeks or months. Each unexplained spiritual setback connects directly to this protection field absence. Through cosmic insight, patterns emerge clearly. Perhaps you've noticed increasing doubt about spiritual truths you once knew with certainty. Maybe synchronicities that once appeared regularly have mysteriously vanished. Possibly your dream state has become mundane rather than spiritually insightful. These symptoms collectively confirm your unprotected status. Your energy field passed through the boundary without warning signals. The protection field doesn't create jarring sensations when you exit. It simply stops maintaining your spiritual frequencies, allowing them to gradually diminish over time. Cosmic understanding reveals deeper effects. Those moments when previously clear spiritual concepts suddenly felt confusing. When you struggled to access wisdom that once flowed easily. When your energy suddenly felt dense and heavy. These weren't your imagination, they were direct results of moving outside the field. Living disconnected creates cascading symptoms. Your spiritual perception dims progressively the longer you remain unprotected and exposed. The universe reveals critical timing now. This emergency alert reaches you at precisely the final safe moment in your disconnection timeline. Earlier would have been ideal, but your perception was too compromised to receive the message. Later would mean potential permanent disconnection. Your energy timeline carries special significance. Certain periods create natural vulnerability to slipping out of the protection field. Pay attention to stressful life phases or times of major physical, emotional challenges when your frequency naturally fluctuates. Type I. Understand the timeline as cosmic wisdom explains your disconnection sequence. Each soul faces vulnerability windows at specific life stages, information that helps you prevent future boundary slips. Through spiritual sight, important timing factors emerge. You likely experienced a major life stressor or frequency drop before symptoms began appearing. You'll notice how this created the perfect conditions for accidentally moving beyond the protection boundary, though perhaps only now with greater awareness. Living wisdom shows protection field mechanics. Some disconnections happen suddenly during traumatic events. Others occur gradually through sustained exposure to lower frequencies. Divine insight reveals which factors influenced your specific field exit most directly. Perfect understanding requires examining disconnection timing. The moments when spiritual clarity began fading. When manifestation results weakened. When intuitive guidance became muffled. These weren't random, they follow specific patterns after protection field exit. Beyond physical reality, energetic timing governs reconnection opportunities. Your soul receives cosmic assistance at specific intervals after disconnection. You experience such an opportunity now, though this particular emergency protocol activates only once. Sacred truth emerges with crystal clarity. Specific energy patterns have maintained your disconnection, some created externally, others unconsciously self-generated. These influences prevented you from noticing your unprotected status. Divine understanding reveals primary disconnection factors. Perhaps constant exposure to negative news or social media created a density barrier preventing awareness. Maybe relationships with spiritually unconscious people gradually pulled your frequency downward. Possibly habitual thought patterns of worry, fear or judgment created self-maintaining disconnection forces. Type I. Identify the barriers as cosmic wisdom shows which influences most significantly maintained your disconnection. The environmental factors, thought patterns, and emotional states prolonged your time outside the protection field. Through spiritual sight, your specific barriers become clear. You didn't encounter these influences randomly. They appeared as tests requiring conscious recognition before reconnection became possible. Living wisdom flows through conscious recognition. As you acknowledge these disconnecting influences, their power diminishes immediately. Divine understanding helps you neutralize their effects through simple awareness. Perfect understanding illuminates frequency mechanics. Challenges faced during disconnection often reflected opportunities to recognize what lowers your vibration. Your awareness creates opportunity to transform these patterns permanently. Beyond surface influences, subconscious resistance activates during disconnection. Old beliefs about unworthiness, spiritual doubt, or fear of your true power create self-sabotaging patterns that maintain your unprotected status. Divine timing ensures this message reaches you precisely when you've developed enough awareness to overcome these hidden barriers. Each recognized influence transforms from disconnection force into reconnection catalyst through the simple power of conscious awareness. Cosmic vision penetrates the veils between realities now, revealing truths about your rightful place within the protection field. What emerges is a position of spiritual significance far more extraordinary than your disconnected perception could comprehend. Sacred understanding illuminates your proper location, a place where your true abilities can fully activate under complete protection. Those unexplained feelings of homesickness weren't random emotions. That recurring sense of missing something important. The immediate recognition when encountering concepts of spiritual community. All these experiences reflect soul memories activating about your true place within the field. Type I. Reclaim my position as divine wisdom reveals the full scope of where you belong. Within the protection field, your consciousness connects instantly with others of similar frequency. Spiritual knowledge flows freely rather than requiring effort. Manifestation occurs naturally without resistance. This explains why certain spiritual concepts feel like remembering rather than learning. Through mystical sight, your connection to this protected space becomes clear. Perhaps you've always felt drawn to concepts of soul families, sensing meaning beyond intellectual explanations. Maybe descriptions of spiritual communities sparked immediate recognition in your consciousness. Possibly sacred texts about protected consciousness activated something within you upon first exposure. These affinities reflect your soul's knowledge of your rightful place within the field. Living truth explains your natural understanding of spiritual protection. Some souls carry the imprint of field awareness, allowing intuitive grasp of protective energies. Your specific affinities reveal which aspects of field protection will reactivate most immediately upon your return. Divine wisdom reveals dormant abilities suppressed during your time outside the protection field. These gifts have always existed within you, merely deactivated while your energy remained unprotected. Sacred insight shows intuitive powers awaiting reactivation. Perhaps clear knowing that transcends logical information. Maybe energy sensitivity allowing perception of others' true intentions. Possibly direct communication with higher dimensional guides. These intuitive gifts remain partially functional even during disconnection but reactivate fully upon field return. Type I reclaim my gifts as cosmic understanding reveals manifestation abilities. Creating through focused intention becomes significantly more powerful within the protection field. Your thoughts align directly with universal creative forces once protection re-establishes. Through spiritual perception, healing abilities emerge clearly. The capacity to balance energies through intention. Transmuting dense vibrations into higher frequencies. Channeling universal healing currents. These abilities strengthen dramatically once your field protection reactivates. Living wisdom explains expanded perception. Seeing beyond physical imitations to energy patterns and future probabilities. Recognizing higher dimensional beings assisting your journey. Perceiving the underlying patterns connecting seemingly random events. These perceptual abilities clarify immediately upon field re-entry. Perfect understanding illuminates spiritual communication. Direct connection with guides without distortion. Soul-level recognition of your spiritual family members. Clear reception of universal wisdom. These communication channels open fully within the protection field. Beyond individual abilities, collective connection strengthens. Your awareness expands to recognize yourself as integral part of a protected spiritual community. This understanding becomes experientially clear rather than theoretical once field protection reactivates. Cosmic revelation unlocks these dormant abilities naturally. Simply returning to the field initiates automatic reactivation without requiring special techniques or practice. Sacred insight reveals what you'll experience during reintegration. This knowledge prepares you to navigate the return process with awareness rather than confusion. Divine understanding shows initial sensations. A tingling or warmth as protection energy rebuilds around you. Expanding lightness as spiritual connection re-establishes. Growing clarity as perception shifts back to protected awareness. These experiences signal successful re-entry into the protection field. Type I welcome reintegration as cosmic wisdom reveals adjustment phases. Your energy system requires recalibration after functioning unprotected. Trust the process as your spiritual senses reactivate systematically rather than instantaneously. Through mystical perception, integration landmarks appear. The initial boundary crossing where protection begins rebuilding. The stabilization phase where energy fluctuations gradually diminish. The completion point where full protection re-establishes. These markers help you recognize successful reintegration progress. Living knowledge explains temporary discomforts. Brief energy surges as blocked channels reopen. Periods of heightened sensitivity during recalibration. Moments of emotional release as suppressed awareness returns. These fluctuations indicate healthy reintegration rather than problems requiring intervention. Perfect understanding illuminates consciousness expansion. your perception of reality shifts noticeably as protection re-establishes. Limited viewpoints dissolve as expanded awareness returns. This consciousness adjustment may temporarily create disorientation until your system stabilizes within the field. Beyond conceptual understanding, direct experience becomes your teacher. Each reintegration phase provides exactly the sensations needed for your system to recalibrate fully. Trying to control the process limits its effectiveness. Surrendering to natural reintegration maximizes reconnection. Divine insight reveals that the most intense adjustment moments contain the greatest healing potential. Embracing rather than resisting these integration peaks accelerates your complete return. Cosmic vision reveals the nature of consciousness after your reintegration completes. This understanding helps you orient to restored perception once your return finalizes. Sacred insight shows expanded awareness becoming your normal state again. What seemed mysterious or confusing during disconnection becomes perfectly clear. The veil of confusion lifts completely, allowing immediate recognition of spiritual truths without doubt or hesitation. Type I embrace clear perception as divine wisdom reveals reality recognition. The matrix of illusion that seemed so convincing during disconnection becomes obviously artificial. Truth and deception separate clearly without analysis or effort. Through spiritual sight, energy discernment emerges. Authentic versus manipulative intentions become immediately distinguishable. Information carrying spiritual truth versus distortion separates naturally in your perception. People's genuine vibration becomes obvious beyond their words or appearances. Living wisdom explains judgment dissolution. Critical thinking remains while harsh judgment disappears. Compassionate understanding replaces condemnation. Discernment functions without creating separation or superiority. Perfect understanding illuminates interconnection awareness. Separation illusion dissolves as unity perception re-establishes. Individual uniqueness remains while divisiveness fades. This balanced perception allows authentic connection without loss of personal boundaries. Beyond mental changes, emotional transformation occurs. Fear responses diminish as protection re-establishes. Reactive patterns decrease as centered awareness returns. Emotional stability increases naturally without suppression or control. Divine revelation shows how guidance reception improves. Higher wisdom becomes continuously accessible rather than occasionally glimpsed. Your questions receive immediate insight rather than confused speculation. Cosmic knowledge flows according to your readiness once protection fully re-establishes. Sacred understanding reveals that despite these significant changes, your essential being remains continuous. Who you truly are transcends both disconnection and reconnection while expressing more authentically within the protection field. Divine insight reveals that your reconnection serves purposes beyond personal benefit. Specific mission aspects activate once your protection field fully re-establishes. Sacred wisdom shows service opportunities. Your experience of disconnection and return qualifies you uniquely to assist others still outside the field. Your journey creates perfect empathy for those experiencing similar disconnection symptoms. Type I accept my mission as divine understanding reveals recognition abilities. you'll identify others experiencing disconnection through subtle signs invisible to most observers. This recognition allows timely intervention before their disconnection progresses too far. Through spiritual perception, teaching opportunities emerge. Your reconnection journey qualifies you as a protection guide for others. Your experiences provide perfect illustrations, making abstract field concepts tangible for those still struggling with disconnection. Living harmony grows through balanced assistance. After your reconnection complete, you maintain awareness of both protected and unprotected states. This dual perception creates powerful intervention capabilities without losing your secured connection. Perfect compassion develops through remembering your own disconnection experience. Your journey creates empathy for others facing similar circumstances. Divine love flows more freely through your consciousness as judgment of disconnection symptoms permanently dissolves. Beyond theoretical knowledge, embodied wisdom becomes your offering. Your reconnected presence itself transmits field energy to those you encounter. Words become secondary to the frequency field you generate after complete reintegration. Divine wisdom reveals how to maintain your protected state while assisting others outside the field. Specific practices help you remain fully connected while extending help to those still experiencing disconnection. Sacred insight shows protection methods, ensuring your assistance efforts don't create renewed vulnerability. Your completed reintegration creates stability, allowing service without personal risk. Divine insight reveals essential practices, ensuring your protection field remains stable permanently. This knowledge prevents future accidental disconnections. Sacred wisdom shows daily maintenance methods. Brief energy practices that reinforce field integrity. Awareness habits that quickly identify potential boundary weaknesses. Conscious choices that naturally strengthen rather than deplete your connection. Type I maintain my protection as divine understanding reveals environmental management. Creating spaces that support high frequency. Limiting exposure to unnecessarily dense energies. Establishing boundaries with individuals or information sources that drain rather than enhance your field connection. Through spiritual perception, warning signs emerge. Subtle symptoms indicating potential field weakening long before actual disconnection occurs. Energy fluctuations suggesting boundary instability. Consciousness changes hinting at protection thinning. These early indicators allow immediate reinforcement before significant weakening occurs. Living wisdom explains natural field strengtheners. Activities and choices that automatically reinforce your protection without specific practices. Relationships that naturally enhance boundary integrity. Environments that effortlessly support continued protection. Perfect understanding illuminates consciousness management. Thought patterns that strengthen or weaken field connection. Emotional states that impact boundary stability. Belief systems that affect protection integrity. This awareness allows conscious creation of ideal internal conditions for permanent protection. Beyond individual practices, collective connection strengthens boundaries. Regular contact with others inside the protection field naturally reinforces your own connection. Group consciousness creates exponentially stronger protection than individual awareness alone. Divine wisdom reveals priority adjustment as essential maintenance. Regularly choosing field integrity over temporary conveniences or comforts. Recognizing protection as fundamental rather than optional. Valuing connection enough to make choices supporting its continuation. Sacred insight shows that consistent small choices create far stronger protection than occasional major efforts. Daily awareness maintains boundaries effortlessly. Cosmic revelation reaches its peak now. The most profound truth about your protection field emerges with crystal clarity. Sacred understanding shows your reconnection approaching completion. The emergency protocols initiated through your conscious participation have successfully rebuilt your essential protection barriers. Type I am fully returned as divine wisdom confirms your reintegration. The cosmic guardians who initiated this emergency alert now verify your successful return to protected status. Your energy signature appears clearly within the field boundaries once again. Through spiritual sight, perfect divine timing appears. This reconnection occurred precisely when your awareness could fully participate in and maintain the re-established connection. Nothing was accidental or coincidental about this perfectly timed emergency protocol. Living wisdom culminates in profound simplicity. Your protection requires only conscious recognition and basic maintenance. Complexity was never necessary, only awareness and choice. Perfect insight reveals eternal connection potential. Your bond with the protection field can now remain continuous across all life experiences when maintained with simple awareness. Ultimate reactivation completes now. All revealed wisdom integrates into your experience, permanently altering your relationship to spiritual protection itself. Divine power infuses your entire energy field. Every pattern, every frequency, every consciousness aspect returns to optimal protected functionality.